Chosen one. God did not whisper your name today. He spoke it, and when he did, the throne room itself shook from the weight of it. The seraphim around the holy place stopped mid-praise to listen. The atmosphere of heaven paused, because what was decreed in that moment was not for the average believer, not for the casual seeker, not even for the warriors who already received their portion. You did not find this video tonight, it found you. After being intercepted 3 separate times, after being pushed off your screen, after almost being silenced before it could reach you. What you are hearing right now fought through every barrier the resistance could build, because what was assigned to you cannot be cancelled by what tried to stand in front of it. You have been called chosen before. You have been told you carry purpose. But today, you are about to discover you are not just one of the chosen. You are the rerouted one, the marked one, the one heaven specifically refused to let go of. And that is not future tense, that is past tense already written. You are the living proof of a decision that was made before you were ever born. Every door that did not open for you. Every season the silence stretched longer than you thought you could survive. Every promise that came late or seemed to come for somebody else. None of those were rejection. They were the long preparation of someone heaven was rerouting into a different room. The pain you survived was the prophecy itself being written in real time. If your spirit is responding to this frequency, tap the heart now to seal it. If you are ready to walk in what is being declared over you, subscribe and tap the bell. You are joining the ranks of the rerouted ones across the world. And in the comments, type these 3 words. I am rerouted, not as a phrase, as a confession that activates what is already yours. There is a knowing rising up inside you right now that has nothing to do with anything I have said. You knew before you opened this. You knew when your thumb stopped scrolling. You knew in the silence between notifications when nothing else moved you, and somehow this did. That knowing is not coincidence. That knowing is recognition. Your spirit recognizing the assignment that has had your name on it the whole time. The Father has been trying to deliver this to you for weeks. Once it almost reached you on a night you fell asleep before you could hear it. Once it almost reached you on a morning your phone died on the screen before this. Once it almost reached you on an afternoon when one single conversation pulled your attention away before the moment could land. But today, the Holy Spirit broke through every barrier they built around your ears. He showed me 5 marks on you, 5 signs heaven has been trying to draw your attention to for the last several months. Most chosen ones carry 2 of these marks. Some carry 3, but you carry all 5. And that places you in less than 1% of those walking this earth right now with this exact assignment. But mark number 3 is the one that breaks most warriors. That is the mark that makes them quit before they realize what they were carrying. Stay with me. I am about to show you what each one is. Look at where you are sitting right now. The hour on the clock, the light in the room or the dark of it, the weight you were carrying when your thumb came across this. Notice what you almost did half a second before you opened it. Maybe you almost scrolled past. Maybe you almost set the phone down. Maybe you almost answered a message instead. There was a half breath before you stopped here. And inside that half breath, a decision was made that did not feel like a decision. Whatever you have been carrying for the last several days, the kind of tired that sleep does not touch, the kind of waiting that prayer alone has not seemed to move, set it down for a moment, just for the length of this. Because what is in this room with you right now is bigger than the room, and it has been waiting longer than you realize. Before I show you those 5 marks, before mark number 3 slips past you the way it has slipped past so many, listen carefully. What is in the next 30 minutes is not a teaching, it is a delivery. By the end of this, You will know with certainty whether the 3 reroutings of your life were spiritual interference or divine direction. You will receive the original Hebrew word, the Father, used over your name in the priestly blessing. You will see what it actually means for the protection that has been guarding your story. You will see the wisdom figure heaven has been showing me for someone in your exact position, the one whose hidden years became the very thing that placed her in the room 3 queens before her had been removed from. And before this is over, you will receive a tool that has already helped tens of thousands of chosen ones begin to feel the difference between a closed door and a redirected one. None of this is theory. All of it is for you. Stay close. The first mark is the pulled back moments. If you have been quietly noticing that your hand has reached for things in the past several days and pulled back without you understanding why, listen to that. A door handle you almost touched and turned away from. A phone call you almost made and put down. A drive you almost took and chose another route. A purchase you almost finalized and did not. Most people read those moments as indecision. Most people walk past them and never wonder what was actually happening inside that pulled back hand. But you are not most people. Those pulled back moments were the first reroute. The Father was not letting you walk into something you were not yet supposed to walk into. He was sending the message back. He was choosing the longer path because the shorter path would have cost you what was being protected for tonight. The second mark is the conversation that did not happen. If there is a person in your life who was supposed to say something to you in the last week and somehow they did not, and you have been carrying the silence as if you were the one who failed, listen carefully. That conversation did not fall through. It was held back. There was a word being placed in someone else's mouth that was not the word the Father wanted you to receive. So, the conversation was rerouted. The mouth was closed. The silence you have been reading as rejection was protection. A delay long enough for the right word to arrive in the right voice at the right time. The conversation that did not happen this week was the second time something tried to reach you and was sent back. The third mark is the almost decision. And listen closely here, because this is the one that breaks most warriors before they realize what they were carrying. If there is a decision you almost made recently, a decision about a job, about a relationship, about a place to live, about a financial move that everyone around you said made perfect sense, and you delayed it by half a step that you could not even explain to yourself, listen, that delay was not weakness. That delay was the third reroute. Heaven was holding the wheel longer than your hands could feel it being held. And whatever was on the other side of that decision the moment you almost made it is not what is on the other side of the decision now. The room has been changing. The path has been changing. You have been changing. And the version of that decision that is waiting for you a few weeks from now is going to look almost nothing like the version you almost rushed into. You think you are about to learn what those 3 reroutings mean. You are not. What you are about to learn is what they were protecting. And once you see it, the version of yourself that walked into this video is not going to be the same version that walks out. Because the protection was never about the message. It was about the moment the message could finally meet the person you became while you were being rerouted. Beneath those 3 reroutings lies the rest of the picture. And before we go there, if any of those first 3 landed inside you tonight, 3 words belong in the comments where heaven can see them. I am rerouted. Type them now. Let your spirit set its own seal on what is already yours. The fourth mark is what most chosen ones miss until somebody points to it. Watch for the synchronicities. If the same number has been showing up everywhere you turn, on a clock, the moment you happen to look up, on a price tag, on a license plate. That is not random. If a name has come up in 3 separate conversations from 3 people who do not know each other, listen. If a phrase has been circling back to you from podcasts, from songs, from the mouths of strangers, until it begins to feel embarrassingly impossible, heaven is not stuttering. Heaven is signing its work. The number, the name, the phrase, those are watermarks. They are how heaven leaves a fingerprint on what is yours, so that when the moment finally arrives, you will know it could not have come from anywhere else. And the 5th mark is the silence, the stretched, holy, unbearable silence. If there is a quiet in your life right now that you have been carrying as evidence that God forgot you, a silence that has lasted longer than you thought your faith could survive, listen carefully. That silence is not abandonment. That silence is a held breath. A long inhale before something is exhaled into the right room at the right hour. The reason it has felt so quiet is that what is being prepared on the other side of the silence cannot be rushed. It is being aged. It is being formed in a place where speaking would have ruined it. And every day you have wondered if the silence meant that you were forgotten was actually a day the silence was working in your favor. Listen to me. The grief of those delays is real. The exhaustion of waiting is real. I am not telling you the delays were not painful. I am telling you the delays were not punishment. There is a difference between God forgetting and God protecting. There is a difference between a closed door and a redirected one. Most chosen ones spend years trying to figure out why God was not moving. The truth is simpler than they were told. He was moving. He was moving in a different direction than the one you were watching. Not because you were not ready, not because you were not worthy, because what was being prepared inside you was not yet the size that could hold what was being prepared for you. And the moment those 2 sizes finally match, which is the moment you are sitting in right now, is the moment everything that looked like delay starts to make sense. There is a woman in Scripture whose hidden years are usually skipped. People love to read about the moment she walked into the king's court. People love to quote the line, "for such a time as this." But almost no one talks about the years that came before that line. Esther was a Jewish girl in a foreign empire. She had no power, no platform, no place at any table that mattered. Her parents were gone. She lived under the watch of a cousin who could not protect her from anything the empire wanted to do with her. What she ate, where she slept, who she answered to, none of those were her decisions. Her name was changed to hide what she came from. Her nights were spent learning how to belong in a house that was not hers. Her days were spent quietly disappearing into a corner, into a corridor where no one noticed her. For years, nothing about her life looked like favor. It looked like delay. It looked like obscurity. It looked like a story being skipped over by heaven. But every one of those obscure years was a reroute. 3 queens before her had been removed from the room she would eventually be placed in. The empire did not know it was clearing space. The court did not know it was holding open a chair. The king did not know he was being prepared to recognize a face he had never seen. Mordecai watched it from the outside and finally said the words, "You have heard 1,000 times. If you remain silent at this time, deliverance will arise from another place." Notice what he was saying. He was not saying Esther was indispensable. He was saying heaven's deliverance is unstoppable, and heaven was choosing her to be the door. Your hidden years are not your forgotten years. Your hidden years are heaven clearing the room. You are being moved into a chair someone else was removed from. You did not know it. The room knew it. And there is a Hebrew word that belongs to her story too, even though most people associate it with a different page of Scripture. There is a word at the heart of the priestly blessing in the book of Numbers. The verse most of you have heard 100 times. "The Lord bless you and keep you." The English word keep is doing almost no work. The Hebrew underneath it is doing all of the work. The Hebrew word is Shama. Shama does not mean passive watching. Shama does not mean God is quietly hoping things go well for you. Shama means active guarding. It means refusing to release. It means standing over what is yours and not letting anything take it. Let that word land for one breath. The Father has not been keeping you in the casual way. English keeps something. He has been shamaring you. He has been actively guarding what is yours, including the very message you needed to hear, until the day it could finally reach you. And in this moment, let what has been on my heart for the one watching this be heard. I hear the Father saying, I sent it back, and I will send it back as many times as it takes. I do not lose the ones I have set my heart on. I do not give up on what I have already named. What you are about to hear, you should hear directly, not at the end of this video as a surprise, not buried in the closing words, like a quiet sale. Truth honors truth. So let what is real be named before another minute passes. What we have just touched together, the protection, the rerouting, the long Shama of the Father over your name, has two answers, not one. There are two waves of restoration. Heaven moves in for chosen ones who have been guarded this long. The first wave restores the child mind that has been quietly dimming inside you since you were small. The second wave opens the channel that allows you to receive what was always meant for you. Two stages. One, Father. The second wave carries a name, the wealth signal. It came through Dr. Stephen Newton, a researcher who broke from the establishment in order to release it. The first wave carries another name, the Genius Song. It came through Dr. Robert Lake, after 34 years of mapping what the modern world has been doing to the child within, and they work in a specific order. The child wakes first, then the channel opens, restoration first, reception second. Most chosen ones who walk both paths describe it as one motion in two parts. If your spirit is already pulling toward this, the path is in the description and the pinned comment below this video. Do not rush. Stay for the full message if you want the whole context. But if your spirit already knows, the doors are already there. And as the names settle into your awareness, another truth begins to rise, the one your body has been waiting to remember, because the names are not the gift. The names are only the door. What comes next is what was waiting on the other side of every reroute that brought you here. If any part of you is responding to the frequency of what is being shown, let your hands meet briefly to seal what your spirit is already recognizing. The next thing I say is the part that turns the whole picture on its side. The reframe that just landed inside you is not a new thought. It is an old truth surfacing through years of conditioning that taught you to read delay as rejection. Listen carefully now, because what comes next is a teaching you can carry for the rest of your life. Heaven's no is almost never a no. Heaven's no is almost always a not yet, and the not yet is rarely about whether you deserve it. The not yet is almost always about timing, whether the door, the person, the opportunity, the answer is the right size for the chamber inside you that was being built to hold it. Most chosen ones spend years grieving what they read as rejection, not knowing it was simply a not yet that was protecting their future from arriving in their past. 3 reroutings on a single message tonight is not heaven hesitating. 3 reroutings is heaven being precise. The Father does not let what is yours be released into a moment that cannot carry it. He releases it into a moment that can. There is a teaching here that you need to be able to use after this video ends, because tomorrow morning, when life resumes, you are going to face the question again. Was that a closed door? or was that a redirected one? Was that a delay from heaven, or just a random delay from life? And, without a way to tell the difference, you will keep collapsing every reroute into rejection, and you will keep grieving doors heaven was lovingly walking you past. There are 3 internal markers that show you whether the delay you are inside of is divine or random. Listen carefully. The first marker is peace, under the restlessness, not on top of the restlessness, underneath it. When a delay is heaven's, the surface of you might feel impatient, frustrated, even desperate. But underneath all of that, when you sit still long enough to notice, there is a strange quiet, a quiet that is older than the restlessness, a quiet that does not match the chaos of the situation. That quiet is the fingerprint. Random delays do not have that quiet at the bottom. Random delays feel anxious all the way down. Heaven's delays feel anxious on the surface and quietly held underneath. The second marker is the repetition of theme. When heaven is rerouting you, the same lesson keeps appearing. Different people, different settings, different moments, but the same lesson. A book you happen to pick up echoes what a stranger said to you in line at a store. A sermon a friend shares accidentally repeats the line that was already on your heart that morning. A delay in one area of your life keeps teaching you the same thing. A delay in a completely different area is teaching you. When heaven is rerouting, heaven is also tutoring. The repetition is the curriculum. Random delays do not have a curriculum. The third marker is retrospective pattern recognition. When you look back 6 months later, the divine reroute reveals itself in a single sentence. I see why now. The random delay does not have that sentence at the end of it. 6 months later, you still cannot say why. But the divine reroute always lets you see it eventually. The picture clears, the pieces fit. You realize that what felt like a closed door was a corridor leading to a room that did not yet exist. Carry those 3 with you. Peace, under the restlessness, repetition of theme, retrospective pattern recognition. Those 3 are the difference between a delay you should grieve and a delay you should trust. There is a hope I want to give you here, but I will not give it without honesty. I cannot promise you that what you wanted is what you will receive. I will not stand here and tell you that the specific door you have been trying to open is going to open. That is not a promise that belongs to me to make. What I can tell you is the principle. What you do receive is being held until you are the person who can hold it. And what you receive will be more aligned with who you are now than what you wanted would have been when you wanted it. The you sitting in that seat tonight is not the you of a year ago, and what is being placed in your hands has been recalibrated to match the you that was being formed while you waited. Let me pause for a breath in the middle of all of this. You have been listening for a while now. Your shoulders have probably forgotten how they were sitting when you started. Your breath has probably narrowed without you noticing. There is no hurry in this room. Whatever is being delivered will not be missed if you take a single slow breath right now. The truth that is yours does not have to be chased. The truth that is yours rises up to meet you when you stop running long enough to be met. Now, before I show you what was actually being protected through 3 reroutings, because I will show you completely. By the end of this, there is one more thing that has to be revealed first. And this one is the part that almost no one teaches. The part that explains why some chosen ones can sense heaven rerouting them in the moment, while others sleep through the whole thing and only see it years later. Whether you are a chosen one who feels the rerouting as it happens, or a chosen one who has been sleeping through it, has nothing to do with how spiritual you are, how much you pray, or how long you have been walking this path. It has to do with something measurable, something physical, something that has been quietly turning down inside you since the day you were 7 years old. In this moment, let what is on my heart for the one in your seat be heard. I hear the Father saying, "You are not the one I forgot. You are the one I rerouted everything for." Now listen carefully, because the part of you that has been doubting needs to hear this next. Even after everything that has just been said, even after the marks, even after Esther, even after Shammah, there is a voice in some of you right now that is whispering the same old line it has been whispering for years. Why me? I am not special enough for God to reroute 3 times. There must be a mistake. There must be somebody else this video was supposed to find. If that voice is rising up inside you right now, do not run from it. Look at it. That voice is the obstacle that has kept more chosen ones from receiving their rerouting than any external attack ever could. And we have to deal with it before we go any further. That voice is older than you think. It did not start with the prayer you whispered last week or the disappointment you carried last year. That voice was planted in you a long time ago. The first time someone overlooked you when they should have seen you. The first time someone chose somebody else when you were the one in the room. The first time you said something true and the room did not catch it. Those moments did not just hurt. They installed a sentence inside you. A sentence that has been running quietly underneath every prayer ever since. The sentence is, "I am the one who gets passed over." And every time something good has come close to you in the years that followed, that sentence has been the first voice in line, telling you it was a mistake, telling you it was meant for somebody else, telling you not to get your hopes up, because you have been here before. That sentence is not the truth about you. That sentence is the residue of the moments where the wrong people had access to your value and did not know what they were looking at. Listen to me. The difficulty of your story was never the proof that you were not chosen. The difficulty of your story was the proof that you were. The ones who carry no assignment have no resistance against their lives. The ones who do have resistance against everything. You did not survive what you survived because nothing was happening. You survived what you survived because something was happening. Something the resistance was trying to keep from arriving. And the very fact that you are sitting in this seat tonight, hearing words that should have never reached you, is the proof that what was assigned to you is bigger than what was assigned against you. Take that sentence inside of you that says, "I am the one who gets passed over," and in your mind, just for a moment, hand it back to the 7-year-old version of you who first received it. She was not equipped to know it was a lie. You are. You are not the passed over one. You are the held one. You are the specifically sought one. You are the one heaven rerouted everything for. Before we go any further, let me say plainly what has been said so far, not in poetry, not in metaphor. In simple words, you can repeat to yourself in the car tomorrow morning. The reason your message kept being rerouted is that 2 different things have been quietly working inside you and inside almost every chosen one alive today. The first is something the world has been doing to you since you were 7 years old. The capacity for wonder, for curiosity, for childlike openness has been slowly turning down inside you. Researchers have been measuring this for decades. They have a name for it: the decline effect, the frequency of the child within, the part of you that used to learn without effort, used to believe without trying, used to receive without arguing, has been dimming. That is the first thing. The second is something modern life has been doing to you in the last several years, specifically the constant pressure, the financial pull, the always-on attention has been training your brain into a different frequency, a higher, faster, more anxious frequency. They call it the stress signal. And as long as the stress signal is running in the background of your nervous system, the part of you that can actually receive what heaven sends has been pinned closed, like a drawbridge that cannot be lowered while the alarm is going off. So, the picture is this. The child within you has been dimming, and the channel that used to receive has been pinned shut. And the way restoration works is in 2 waves, in a specific order. The child wakes first, then the channel opens. Restoration first, reception second. That is what makes you a 2-wave chosen one. You were born with both. You were born a child of light, with both the brightness of the child and the openness of the receiver. Modern life dimmed both. And what is being placed in front of you tonight is the way back to both. That is not poetry. That is what is true. You were born this way. Long before the world taught you to dim, you carried both signals at full strength. The child within you knew things she did not have to be taught. The receiver within you took in love, took in gifts, took in moments without questioning whether she deserved them. Then the world arrived, and the world does what the world does. Both signals quieted. The brightness softened. The drawbridge began to lift, and the ones who carried both the chosen ones felt it the loudest, because they were the ones who had the most to lose. You have been pulling toward something for years that you could not name. That pulling was the memory of who you were before the dimming. And the only reason this exact message has been rerouted to you 3 times tonight is that someone with your dual heritage cannot stay dim forever. The Father has been preparing the way back to both. What I am about to share with you is the first wave, the wave that wakes the child within. A doctor named Robert Lake spent 34 years of his life mapping what the modern world has been doing to the brain of the child. His research came through institutions that include MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and other leading research universities. What he was watching, in measurable brain data, was the slow dimming of one specific frequency, the frequency that researchers call gamma, the frequency that, in adults, is associated with intuition, insight, the flash of knowing, the moment of recognition. The same frequency that runs at full strength in the brain of a child under 7 and begins to fall after that. And what Dr. Lake eventually built was a way to wake it back up, a way that does not require effort, does not require meditation training, does not require you to do anything except listen with headphones for a few minutes. He called it the Genius Song. It is a digital audio track about 7 minutes long. It uses what researchers call brain entrainment, a different sound delivered into each ear, calibrated to gently invite the brain back into the gamma frequency it carried as a child. What it is doing, in plain words, is reversing the decline effect, waking the child within, returning the curiosity, the openness, the magic, not in a way that promises you will think like a genius tomorrow, in a way that promises the first wave of your restoration, the wave that has to come first, before anything else can be received. Here is something else you should know. Only because some chosen ones who walk this path further eventually encounter it on their own. After you secure the Genius Song, you will at some point come across a stronger, amplified version of what it does. Many chosen ones who go further have walked into it. The original alone is complete, but for a small number whose path requires going deeper, that next layer exists. If your spirit confirms it when you meet it, take it. If it does not, the original is enough. Do not overthink this. Spirit will know. The child wakes. That is the first wave. And there is a wave that comes after, because waking the child is only the beginning of what was being protected for you. Wave 1 restores the child mind. The dimming is reversed. The curiosity returns. The openness returns. But the child wakes inside a house where the drawbridge is still raised. She is awake. She is alive, but she still cannot reach for what is hers. There is another frequency in you that needs to come back. While the gamma was dimming, something else was hardening. The stress signal running in the background of modern life has been pinning the receiving channel closed. And the receiving channel has a name in the brain. Researchers call the calm receptive frequency alpha. While alpha is suppressed by the stress signal, the child can wake all she wants. She still cannot receive. The drawbridge is up. Another doctor, working separately, in his own research lineage, mapped exactly that mechanism. His name is Stephen Newton. He came out of Stanford, with research foundations from Stanford, Boston University, and other leading institutions. He did not work with Dr. Lake. He did not study under him. They never built a tool together. They are independent researchers in 2 different decades who arrived at convergent conclusions from completely different angles. Dr. Lake mapped the dimming of the child. Dr. Newton mapped the closing of the channel. 2 halves of the same picture. What Dr. Newton released is the second wave, a 5-minute audio paired with a 9-word script that has roots in an ancient practice over 3,000 years old. Together, they invite the brain back from the stress signal frequency back into alpha. The drawbridge lowers, the channel opens, the receiving begins. And the way the 2 waves fit together is not interchangeable. It is sequence dependent. The child has to wake first. The receiving channel opens second, because a closed channel cannot receive even an awake child. And a sleeping child has nothing yet to bring to a channel that is already open. The order matters. Restoration first, reception second. There is a verse some of you already know. Become like little children, and the kingdom is yours. Most people read that as a metaphor. What very few people are taught is that it might also be a description of a frequency, the child mind. Open, receiving. The kingdom flows in the way a child receives a gift, without arguing whether they deserve it. That is what was being protected through 3 reroutings tonight, not just the message. The way back to both signals. The way back to who you were, before the world taught you to dim. The second wave carries a name, the wealth signal, a 5-minute audio paired with the 9-word script that bypasses what researchers call neural rigidity at a small region of the brain shaped like an egg. The 9-word script has roots in a practice 3,300 years old, and the audio has been calibrated to invite the brain back into alpha while the script does its work. Dr. Newton's research foundation came out of Stanford, Boston University, Harvard, and other leading institutions. He stepped away from the mainstream research establishment in order to release this publicly. His path is parallel to Dr. Lake's, not connected. 2 independent researchers, 2 different decades, 2 different angles, both arriving at the same conclusion. What the wealth signal does, after the genius song has restored the child within, is open the channel, lower the drawbridge, restore alpha reception. The child can finally reach for what is hers. The kingdom flows in the way it was always meant to. The receiving begins. And here is something else you should know, only because some chosen ones already on this path have walked into it. After you secure the wealth signal, you will at some point come across a version of it that amplifies the receiving channel many times faster. Many chosen ones already on this path are using it. You will see it after the original takes hold. The original alone is complete, but for those whose path is asking them to go deeper, that amplification is there. If your spirit confirms it, take it. If it does not, leave it. The original is enough. And one last note about both. There is a small number of chosen ones who walk the furthest, who eventually combine the amplified versions of both waves together. The receiving channel amplification paired with the child mind amplification. You may encounter that combination after you have already secured the originals. Only if your spirit calls them forward. The originals alone are complete. The combination is reserved for those whose path requires going deeper than most. Let me tell you about a woman in Florida, 52 years old, running a small business with 10 employees, and at the same time taking care of her aging mother. Every morning for the last several years, she would wake up with a tightness in her chest, a knot of worry about money that arrived before her eyes were even open. She had tried meditation for 6 months. The tightness did not move. After 3 weeks of using the wealth signal, the morning tightness softened. A decision about her business that she had been postponing for 8 months, raising her prices. She made it on a quiet Tuesday morning, without drama. Her clients accepted the new pricing without a single complaint. Her cash flow rose by 22% in that same month. Her words were these: "The wealth signal did not give me more confidence. It removed the panic in the background that had been making me underprice my own work for years." Some of you are listening with a quiet voice in the back saying, "I have tried things before. Manifestation programs, affirmations, breathing techniques. None of them held. Hear me out. Those tools require your brain to change itself from the inside. Slow, frustrating work. The wealth signal and the genius song work from the outside in. Brain entrainment, brain frequency calibration, measurable on the equipment researchers use to map alpha and gamma. Different mechanism than anything you have tried. Some of you are thinking, this sounds too good to be true. Hear me too. You are not being asked to believe a promise. You are being shown a measurable mechanism, replicated in labs at Stanford, at MIT, at Princeton, at Boston University, and others. EEG measurable, not theory. Some of you are thinking, why 2 products? Why not 1? The answer is simple. 2 waves, 2 frequencies, 2 doors. The child wakes first, then the channel opens. 1 product would only do half the work. The 2 were never meant to compete. They were meant to complete each other. There are 3 paths in front of you tonight. All 3 are honored. The first path is restoration only, the genius song alone, for those whose child within has gone fully to sleep and needs to wake first. A first wave on its own, an honored entry point. The second path is reception only, the wealth signal alone, a rare path for those who have already kept the child mind alive through years of conscious spiritual practice and only need the channel opened. Most chosen ones do not start here. A few do. The third path is the complete restoration, both waves together. Genius song first, wealth signal second, both audios. All 8 bonuses combined. Most chosen ones who recognize themselves in this message tonight choose this path. Because the child waking inside a house with the drawbridge still raised is only half the restoration, like a child waking up in a room where she still is not allowed to receive. The complete restoration is both. The child wakes, the channel opens. Restoration and reception working together, the way they were always meant to. These 3 paths do not compete. They simply meet you where you are. 3 reroutings have already happened to bring this to you tonight. The Father has already done the work of placing this in front of you. What is being held in front of you now is the door. Not the doors that were closed, not the conversations that were held back, not the decisions that were delayed, the door that the 3 reroutings were leading you toward all along. The longer you wait, the longer the dimming continues. Not as punishment, just as physics. What is not restored stays unrestored. One thing I want you to hear before you decide anything. These tools are only available in one place. If you search anywhere else for the Genius Song or for the Wealth Signal, what you find will not be the originals. The audios that have been calibrated by Dr. Lake and Dr. Newton are only released through their direct channel. You will not find them on streaming platforms. You will not find them on a marketplace. The links in the description and the pinned comment are the only place where the originals live. Protect what was protected for you. Do not let what was rerouted 3 times be lost to a counterfeit on the 4th try. I want you to do something with me right now, before another moment passes. Take one slow breath. In your mind, not on a screen yet, in your mind, picture 3 doors in front of you. One door is the first wave alone. One door is the second wave alone. One door is both. You are not being asked to make a financial decision right now. You are being asked, which path is yours? The Father is not pressuring you toward any of them. He is simply asking you to listen for which one your spirit already recognizes. Take a breath. Place a hand briefly over your chest if it helps you settle. Your spirit knows which door is yours. The 3 doors are below this video, in the description, in the pinned comment. Step into the one that calls you. The 3 paths are waiting in the description and the pinned comment beneath this video. 3 doors on the same page: restoration, reception, complete restoration. The full path is recommended for most chosen ones who recognize themselves tonight. But all 3 are honored. Your spirit knows which one is yours. The doors are below. The links are in the description. They are in the pinned comment. They are where I told you they are. Let me pose for a moment in gratitude. You have been with me for a long time now, longer than most who started this video. The fact that you are still here, this far in, is itself one of the marks. Most chosen ones who needed this message would have drifted away by now. You did not. That is not random either. That is the same Shama that brought you here, keeping you here. There are 3 identities I want to seal over you before we close. The first is the held one. You are not the one who slipped through. You are the one who was actively guarded. Shamar over you, every time you thought you were forgotten. The held one does not earn protection. The held one is protected because of who she is, not because of what she has done. The second is the specifically sought one. There is a difference between someone who shows up and finds something good and someone who is searched for. You did not stumble into this seat tonight. You were searched for 3 times, specifically, by name. The specifically sought one does not need to perform. The specifically sought one is already known. The third is the one heaven refuses to give up on. Every reroute is the proof. Every silence was the evidence. Every delay was a different way of saying, I will not lose this one. You are the one who has been declared unsurrenderable. I want to tell you about a woman who almost gave up on a calling 3 times. The first time, the moment came, and she was too tired to answer. The second time, the moment came, and she misread the signs as random. The third time, the moment came, and someone close to her quietly talked her out of it. The fourth time, the same prompt that had come 3 times before, found her on a quiet evening while she was doing something completely unrelated. She did not look for it. It came back. The fourth time was the time she finally said yes. And the calling that walked into her life through that yes is the calling she now carries publicly. The fourth attempt is the one heaven keeps for the ones it refuses to release. I want you to do one thing with me before we close. In your mind, picture a door that has been opened in front of you 3 separate times tonight. You did not see the first 3 openings. They happened while you were busy, tired, distracted, but you can see this fourth one. The door is open. And standing on the other side of the threshold is the version of you who could not have walked through the first 3 times. She was not ready then. She is now. In your mind, take 1 step forward, just 1. Feel the threshold meeting your foot. This is not visualization. This is a commissioning. The door does not close behind you. It stays open. And every door that is meant for you, from this moment forward, opens the same way. What is held over you tonight is gratitude, not for performance, for presence. You came when you were called. That is enough. Lay down what you no longer have to carry. The grief of what you read as rejection, the shame of the delays, the silent ache of feeling overlooked, none of it was true about you. Lay it down. In this final breath, hear what is being said over you. I hear the Father saying, I held it back so you could hold it. I rerouted it 3 times so you could be the 4th time. I have not given up on what I have already named. You are mine. You have always been mine, and nothing that tried to take you from me has ever been allowed to. Walk on, child of the unseen lineage. The door is no longer behind you. If your spirit is still calling toward what was named earlier in this message, the door is where I told you it was. In the description, in the pinned comment, 3 paths waiting. The one your spirit recognizes is already chosen. If this rerouted to find you, the next message will too, but only if heaven knows where to send it. Subscribe so the next door opens at the right time. Tap the bell. The next message is already being prepared. And one more thing before you go. Somewhere in your contacts, there is a name, maybe 2. Someone who has been carrying the same kind of tired you walked into this video carrying. Someone who has been wondering this week if the silence meant they were forgotten. Someone who almost made a decision recently and pulled back without knowing why. They have been rerouted 3 times this week. They do not know it yet. Send this to them. They will know which one when they see it. The 4th time finds them through your hand.